to put, so recently there was a survey conducted of all the millennials, and they were asked, what is the most important goal for you? And 80% of them said, my major goal is to get rich. And another 50% of those same adults said another major life goal was to become famous. So we see this as a pattern to work, to push hard, to achieve more. The Harvard study of adult development is the longest study of 75 years of lives of more than 700 people. And the questions are about their work, their home lives, their health. And actually, you do not really know how their journey in future will be. Around 60 of the original 724 men are still participating in this study. Way back in 1938, two groups of men were chosen. One who went to Harvard, and the other was a group of boys from Boston's poorest neighborhoods, from very, very troubled and disadvantaged backgrounds, and they were practically living in what we call as jhopadpattis, equivalent of that without running water and all. And as a result of this 75-year long study of what actually makes people happy, the conclusion was good relationships keep us happier and healthier. And there are three major lessons about relationships from these studies. First, that social connections are very good for us and loneliness kills. Second, people who are more socially connected to family, to friends, to community are happier, healthier, and they live longer than people less connected. Third, and of course, second most important principle is it's not the number of friends one has, but it's the quality of your relationships which make a difference. You know, maybe you are living in the midst of a conflict. That's very bad for your health. But living in the midst of a warm, protective relationships is extremely good. And those who were seen to be most satisfied in the relationships at 50 were healthiest at the age of 80. And the third lesson which came out of this historic study was that good relationships don't just help us live a longer life, but good relationships also help us maintain and protect our memories, postpone the onset of dementia, and things like that.
Appreciate truly the kind of effort you take in building relationship for all of us. Generally, I'm saying, I love it, Al.
Is there some?
No. Somebody just commented. Sorry for that. You can continue. Some.
Yeah. So, actually speaking, as you already mentioned, that there are people from 7 different religions in this discussion group this evening. And today's discussion is all about, irrespective of whichever religion and religious background we may be from, whatever may be the economic and social background we may be from, the fact of the matter is, as human beings, good, close relationships are good for happiness and health, period. And as we are discussing about resilience, resilience is all about how you can maintain this kind of a protective layer around you so that you can remain happy and healthy. You need to be physically resilient to remain healthy. You need to be mentally resilient to be happy. And therefore, if happiness and health is our goal, and relationships and good, close, solid, qualitative relationships is the means of achieving that, the question arises, what are some of those factors which help us enable and experience real, genuine, close relationships? We see that some people seem to have a knack of developing close relationships and maintaining those relationships for long periods of time. But then other people struggle with it. Is it something like a skill which can be learned? Are there tools which can be enabled, which will help us develop strong relationships, which then act as the resilient cover, with respect to both our body and mind? So, in today's discussion, I will just take the liberty and take your permission to share from Ramayana the four characters: Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughna, and all of them going through an interplay of complex relationships in the midst of extremely challenging situations. But then ultimately, they experience satisfaction and joy. So, the context of Ramayana, and as all of you are aware, that just last year, or maybe even this year, I'm not sure, because of the COVID and because of the fact that people are experiencing so much of anxiety and stress, and they need some genuine manoranjan or transformation of their mind, the Doordarshan played again or replayed the Ramayana. And I believe it was one of the largest viewed programs, in spite of the fact that, the latest technology allows Bollywood movies and television serials to be of another level of, effects and entertainment. And Ramanand Sagarji's Ramayana and B.R. Chopra's Mahabharat did not have any of that technological effect anywhere close to what modern audiences are used to. But still, the reason why that particular series became so popular is Ramayana very clearly demonstrates that life in this world will be mixture of pleasure and pain, and we cannot avoid that. Sometimes there will be pleasure, sometimes there will be pain. We have to maximize, you know, we try to maximize our pleasure. We try to minimize our pain in the midst of unexpected calamities. And so Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita, Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkhadaha agama apayano anityastanti tikshasva bharata. The appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course happens just like the appearance and disappearance of summer and winter seasons. They come and they go. We have no control over it. And therefore, in our Vedic society, in ancient societies across the world, whether it is temple or masjid or church or synagogue, gurdwara, or uh, the various places of worship, the idea was you need a regular ongoing overhauling of your own human system consisting of the body, mind, and spirit. And therefore, these places of worship provided that facility so that we could actually transform ourselves. They were places to rejuvenate, transform, and strengthen the mind. And therefore, in Ramayana specifically, as in Harvard study of adult development, Ramayana also concludes that it is not the ability to avoid and escape pain and misery and calamity which makes you successful. But Ramayana concludes that pain, misery, adversity, calamity is inevitable, but real happiness is dependent on how, in spite of changing circumstances, we manage to maintain a high degree of enthusiasm, high degree of consciousness, camaraderie amongst those who are extremely close to us. For those whose relationship quality depends on prosperity and adversity, it grows with prosperity and dwindles with adversity, and people desert as soon as they see a person has fallen into a condition of poverty. Then he really has not actually established the deepest, closest relationships which is the key to building lifelong resilience. So in Ramayana, these four characters demonstrate the four important qualities required for developing and maintaining congenial relationships. The first is represented by Lord Ram. Lord Ram represents integrity. So Dasharath Maharaj conducted the Putra Kameshth Yagya, and as a result, the Payasam came out and that was shared amongst all the queens, and the eldest who was born was Lord Ram. So Lord Ram represents dharma, and therefore it is said the word Ram is defined as Ramante Sarve Janaha Gunaihi Asmin Iti Sa Rama, that in whom all the people take delight. For what? For his virtuousness, for his integrity. Ramante Sarve, Raman means one who take pleasure or delight. In what? Gunaihi Asmin, in his qualities. The quality of being the Maryada Purushottam, or having the great integrity. So, Lord Ram represents a personality who has a perfect harmony between his words and his action. To speak what I have done is honesty, but to do as I speak is integrity. And Lord Ram represents the highest degree of integrity. When Vibhishana, the brother of his enemy, Ravana, comes to take shelter of Lord Ram, any other person would have hesitated. But Lord Ram, at that point, he describes very clearly, Mitra bhavena sampraptam natyajyeyam kathanchana. He says, I have given a vow that I will not give up anybody who has come to take my shelter. Sakradeva prapannoyastava asmi iti yache. If someone comes to me and says even once, I am yours, abhyam sarvada asmai dadamyetadvratam mama. Such a person should remain completely fearless and should not be at all fearful. And in this way, Lord Ram is the protector of all living entities. He is the complete protector of the dharma. He is the protector of those who take his shelter. And this way, we find that Ram represents integrity. Where his father asked him to go to the forest, he was going to take vows as the crown prince the next day. In fact, Dasharath Maharaj called the entire town a few days before this, and he announced and declared that I'm going to make Ram as the next king. As soon as he declared this, there was a tumultuous sound, and Dasharath Maharaj asked, what is the cause of this sound? And one of the ministers said, my dear King Dasharath Maharaj, you have made hundreds and thousands of decisions in your 60,000 years. But your decision to anoint Ram as the king and to retire at this stage is the best decision we have ever experienced. Therefore, we are celebrating. So even Dasharath Maharaj became a little worried that am I so incompetent that my retirement is being celebrated? And then he still decided to continue and make Ram the king. So all the arrangements for his Rajyabhishek was ready. The next day was going to be the coronation. And Kaikeyi, under the influence of Manthara, gave this order because Dasharath Maharaj had given promise that I will fulfill your two vows. And then she told Ram to go to the forest, and Ram could have easily avoided or given some other excuse. But Lord Ram knew that this is my opportunity to demonstrate the fire of integrity. And he decided to walk the path which was fiery. That personality who was walking with the best quality of footwear in the palace of Ayodhya, that personality who had never come across any hardships in terms of physical austerities, he agreed to immediately go to the forest without wearing any slippers. and allowing all the kinds of thorns and pebbles to hurt him. Lord Ram wanted to share with people of this world that do not expect life to be a walk on a bed of roses. Your walk will be peppered with sometimes prosperity, sometimes adversity. Mahavipattau samsare smret madhusudana vipattau tasya sampatti bhavit ityah shankar. When you experience adversity and you remember the Supreme, then vipattau tasya sampatti, that vipatti becomes sampatti. And therefore, Lord Ram represents the attractive reservoir of pleasure, and he's inviting us to experience this pleasure. Lakshman represents service attitude. The second very important quality required to develop a close relationship is service attitude. First is integrity. So, what does service attitude mean? So, the meaning of Lakshman is given in Valmiki Ramayana. Sarva priyakarastasya ramasya pisharirata Lakshmano Lakshmi Sampanna Bahirprana Ivappara. It is described that Lakshman considered Ram to be his external breath, life air. Lakshmano Lakshmi Sampanno. But Lakshman is personality who is filled with, inundated with Lakshmi. Lakshmi Sampanna. He is full of Lakshmi. What does this Lakshmi mean? Lakshmi means wealth. So, how do you explain that? Lakshman went to the forest along with Ram as a very poverty-stricken personality. So, what is the meaning of Lakshmi Sampanna? How was Lakshman filled with Lakshmi even during those 14 years? When he had nothing, he was just wearing some barbs and just going alone with Sita ji and Ramji. So that prosperity or Lakshmi is the prosperity of service to Ram. And Lakshman never aspired for opulence and power, but he only aspired to serve. And today, as the corporate world is, reaching greater and greater heights in terms of creating a more robust economy, one of the greatest challenges for employers and companies alike is the challenge in creating the service attitude within the human spirit. Everyone wants to grow, everyone wants to be something. Then how can we actually enable this service attitude? So Lakshman demonstrates three aspects of service attitude. Bhavagyena kritagyena dharmagyena cha Lakshmana. First is bhavagyena, conscience. A person who is dependent must know the master's mind. An employee must know the company's overall perspective and which direction they are going in. So a dependent should know the master's mind, words, and use that knowledge in carrying out the commands to his full satisfaction. When Sita, Ram and Lakshman were living in Panchavati, Ram requested Lakshman to create a Parnakutir, and he created one. But while creating one, he just made an extra room for Sita and Ram to spend time in solitude. And at this time, Lord Ram became extremely pleased, and he glorified Lakshman, and he said, people say I have lost my father Dasharath. I don't agree. Because if I have a younger brother like you, O Lakshman, who actually demonstrates the perfect kind of conscience to know what exactly we require without even having to speak it, you are I am so very fortunate to have someone like you. So conscience is bhavagyena. Unless the person who's serving has a feeling of conscience, without that feeling, without that emotion, it's very difficult to go beyond the call of duty and give oneself completely. Second is kritagyena, is competence. Lakshman demonstrated competence when the opportunity to build the Parnakutir came. Lakshman was already experienced because he had seen right from his childhood how the construction workers in Ayodhya were building different huts. different palaces. And in this way, Lakshman demonstrated that he was always on the lookout right from the very beginning, how to become more and more competent so that I can serve my brother Ram in the best possible manner. So you can call it in today's context continuous education program, or always being on the lookout that how can I add this dimension so that I can serve much better. And so dharmagyan is a third aspect of service attitude, which means character. So Lakshman did not sleep for 14 years when he was in the forest. And he was selflessly serving Sita and Ram. And after Sita was kidnapped, and then when she was being dragged away by Ravana on the Pushpak Viman, she threw some jewels down which were picked up by the monkeys. The monkeys showed it to Ram and Lakshman. Ram looked at those jewels and exclaimed, "Oh, Lakshman, do you recognize these jewels?" And Lakshman said, "Nayam janami keyure, naham janami kundale, nupure twabhi janami, nityam padabhivandanat." Oh, my dear Ram, I have never seen Sita Devi's face. I do not know how her kundals look. I do not know how her necklace looks. I do not know how her bangles look. Because maximum I have only seen her lotus feet. I can only say that these are her anklets, her nupur. Otherwise, I do not know. That was the level of service attitude and the kind of character which Lakshman had. And a person with this kind of character who never ever looked up at Sita in any wrong manner. Sita Devi, while the marriage episode happened, started accusing Lakshman of all kinds of wild things, that you have to come to the forest to simply try to enjoy with me. And then Lakshman ultimately makes the Lakshman Rekha and goes and departs. And therefore, at that particular point in time, any normal person, if he had heard so much of accusations and misunderstanding and aspersions of one's intentions, they would not have survived. They would not have stayed. But Lakshman not only survived, he stayed, but he went on to take more and more responsibility to protect Lord Ram. And therefore, Lakshman represents service attitude, the second pillar in trying to establish strong relationships with people, those relationships which act as powerful, resilient factors for both the body and the mind. Bharat represents tolerance. One of the most painful experiences all of us have is of being misunderstood. Lakshman simply happened to be the son of Kaikeyi, and because Kaikeyi was the chief conspirator, and being the son and the beneficiary of that conspiracy, he automatically became the accused. Kaushalya misunderstood, Ayodhyawasis misunderstood. Dasharath Maharaj gave standing orders to Vasishtha, do not allow Bharat to touch my funeral pyre because he's a co-conspirator, he's a villain, and he's completely on the part of Kaikeyi. I reject him, I do not consider him my son. So many harsh words Dasharath Maharaj spoke about Bharat before departing. They say that the police take someone's dying statement very seriously. So the whole kingdom had heard the dying statements of Dasharath as he departed, cursing Bharat left, right, and center. Bharat had no opportunity as a son to clarify the matter to his father and explain how he was not party to this conspiracy. It was a classic case of circumstantial misunderstanding which happens in our business settings, in our job settings, in our family settings, in our all kinds of formal and informal relationships. So there was a circumstantial misunderstanding. Bharat was not party to this, but the way, the circumstances where it appeared, and he had no way to clarify to his father. And then he goes and tries to convince Ram to come back and take the throne, but Ram refuses. And therefore, Bharat Maharaj, experiencing great pain, takes up the responsibility of being the king of Ayodhya, experiencing that pain. 1:30 in the morning, he would go to take bath because when Ayodhya Vasis would get up, they would throw stones at him because they hated him. But in the midst of all of this pain, Bharat Maharaj, he continued serving Lord Ram, continued performing the duties given to him by Lord Ram. In our situation, many times, when we experience some kind of misunderstanding, that misunderstanding or the thought that I am being misunderstood causes so much of pain that many people, in spite of having good packages, they leave companies and go to another company, having good marital relationships because of misunderstanding, leave marital relationships, get a divorce, and go and start another relationship just because to tolerate misunderstanding is very difficult. It's the highest weight which can be kept upon one's mind. Therefore, Bharavahi iti Bharata. Bharat means one who has the capacity to bear the load of unlimited misunderstanding, criticism, and lack of empathy and support from the people of Ayodhya and others. And therefore, Bharat Maharaj continued serving the Ayodhya Vasis from Nandigram, and there was not even one day of a break. So he represents the quality of tolerance. In any relationship, tolerance is so very important. If we do not tolerate, our relationship cannot go anywhere. Fourth is Shatrughna. He represents the fourth quality apart from integrity represented by Ram, service attitude represented by Lakshman, and tolerance represented by Bharata. Shatrughna represents absence of false ego or humility, which is the fourth building block of a congenial relationship. The whole of Ayodhya was criticizing Bharat. It is extremely difficult to be part of a minority. Human beings, as social animals, are constantly under attack on how to conform to social norms. In fact, social ostracism and rejection can be so powerful that many people actually die when they are socially ostracized. In companies, if people do not get promotion and someone else gets the promotion, the very thought of the social ostracism which will follow through and the loss of face which will happen in the midst of the peer society, that is sometimes so painful that people just are unable to handle that, and they do whatever they can just to maintain their sense of false status quo. So therefore, Lakshman served Ram continuously, and Shatrughna served Bharat Maharaj continuously. And he considered Bharat Maharaj to be his worshipable Lord. Lakshman was servant of Bhagavan. Shatrughna was servant of Bhagavat, one who is actually the devotee of the Lord. So we find that Shatrughna served Bharat Maharaj extremely loyally. Gacchatam matulakalam bharatena tadanaga Shatrughna nitya Shatrughna nita priti puraskrita. And in this way, this is an extremely important principle as far as Shatrughna is concerned. So therefore, you can only serve once you have conquered the enemy of false ego. Then only you will be endowed with the quality of humility. Otherwise, Shatrughna could have thought the whole of Ayodhya is glorifying Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, and they are vilifying, Bharat Maharaj. If I am seen close to Bharat and serving him and demonstrating my loyalty to Bharat, then I lose market value. I lose, respect in the minds of many Ayodhya Vasis. No, he was humble. He just wanted to serve. and he was willing to support Bharat in the midst of all kinds of prosperities and adversities. So, therefore, Ram representing integrity, Lakshman representing service attitude, Bharat representing tolerance, and Shatrughna representing humility. These four are most essential ingredients required in our character to experience highest sublime relationships. And then, when you experience good relationships, you experience happiness, in the mind and health in the body. And therefore, it's very important for us that we perform and practice a yoga system which can actually help us transform our mind and heart. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhya samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Balanced in your duty without care to win or lose. Turn your work into yoga as the learned sages do. कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्म फल हेतुर्भु मात्र संगोत्स्व कर्मणि. Always do your work, Arjuna, and do not claim its yield. Neither think yourself in charge nor flee the battlefield. So, by practice of yoga, we increase our awareness. We are living in a world where there is constant bombardment of weapons of mass distraction, smartphones, electronic recorders, notebooks, headphones, GPS, wall-to-wall televisions, you name it. So for the human mind, distraction means something novel, and novel is associated with increase in dopamine levels. And from 2017 to 2012 to 17, human attention span came from 12 seconds to almost 8 seconds. The number of internet users has grown from almost 400 million in 2000 to 4.62 billion in 2020. 63% of the internet users in India say they use it every single day. And although only 40% of the world population has internet access, but the addiction rate for internet is almost 6%. 12% of the websites are pornographic, and it translates to more than 2.3 billion websites which are pornographic in content. And an average internet user is spending almost 5 years and 4 days of his entire lifetime on the social media. And distraction causes the businesses in US the highest damage in terms of almost 650 billion US dollars loss per year, and 64% of all car accidents happen because of distraction. And this lack of self-control is not just in internet usage, but in addictions like alcohol and tobacco. And we find that alcohol is responsible for more than 2.8 million deaths every single year prematurely. 5.8 lakh deaths per annum happen in India alone. Smoking killed 100 million people in 2000 to 1900 to 2000 period. And it is estimated to kill almost a billion people in 2000 to 2100 period. And so the impact of a population with lack of self-restraint, lack of self-control, it is going to create major damage to society. And the impact on environment is also major. Around 33% of the food wasted for human consumption every year, which translates to almost 2.3 billion tons of food waste, food which is cooked for consumption by human beings, but it goes into waste. And therefore, as far as waste is concerned, we are, thinking use and throw. And this use and throw mentality has created almost 2 billion metric tons of solid municipal waste, which is produced every single year. And this is going to go up to 3.4 billion metric tons by 2050. So lack of discipline over food is also a major cause of 18 million deaths in 2017 due to cardiovascular diseases, 10 million deaths due to cancer, and almost 15 million premature deaths due to obesity. So these statistics show two things very clearly. People across the world have lost their ability for sense and self-control, and imbalanced physically, socially, and emotionally. And people's individual imbalance is taking a toll on the planet and accelerating climate change. So we need to improve our self-discipline, self-control, and add integrity, tolerance, service attitude, humility in our repertoire. as a result of which we will be able to have a better kind of relationships with others. Environment is the invisible hand which shapes human behavior. And happiness comes not by maximizing our possessions but minimizing our attention, our attachments. The value of what we drive doesn't matter as much as the values which drive us. Spirituality and yoga empowers us to reclaim our destiny, to do our best, to bring out our best, to attain the best. Speak to give people peace of your mind, to give peace of mind, not a peace of your mind. And therefore, we as human beings have to be honest, sincere, and authentic in our efforts. We must approach self transformation and the practice of yoga or any other kind of practice which your religion teaches with the sincerity and honesty of a very the sincerity and intensity of an honest practitioner. This is extremely important. All religions teach how to transform the selfish heart into a selfless one. Just because a thought is persistent doesn't make it pertinent. One must learn to peruse and go through our thoughts. And therefore, worry is the interest we pay on the loans which we have not taken. Just reading more books on weight loss will not help you lose weight. Getting opportunities is providence. Grabbing opportunities is diligence. Our choice has a louder voice than our voice because what we do speaks louder than what we say. And if you do not stand for something, you will fall for anything. Not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love. For every minute you express your anger, you're losing 60 seconds of happiness. And life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you have to keep moving. Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts, says Winston Churchill. And therefore, it's very important that everybody thinks of changing the world, but very few people actually think of changing themselves. So, this is very, very important because wealth, as I heard that most of you are from the corporate background and dealing with wealth is the power to choose. Financial wealth is the power to choose how to spend money. Social wealth is the power to choose whom to hang out with. Time wealth is the power to choose how do you want to spend your day or the hour. Mental wealth is the power to choose how do you decide to spend your attention. So we must develop the art of getting things done and also the important art of leaving things undone, because the wisdom of life consists in eliminating the non-essentials. So the place to improve the world is first in our hearts, then in our head, and then in our hands. And once you have transformed your heart, your head, and your hands, then you realize that new goals do not deliver new results, new lifestyles do. And lifestyle is not an outcome, it's a process. And therefore, all of your energy should go into building better habits and not chasing better results. And the cost of your good habits fare in the present, the cost of your bad habits fare in the future. And there are three things which you cannot buy with your money. First is fitness. And the COVID has demonstrated so powerfully that, whether you're rich or poor, you have to stay fit. Second, diet, you cannot pay someone to be on a diet for you. Third is your particular spiritual discipline, which you have to undertake. No one can look after your soul but yourself. So, discipline is the fusion of intention with action. Just as foods add to our physical weight, our thoughts add to our mental weight. So, we have to choose our food and our thoughts very, very carefully. Yatha depo nematasto nengate sopama smrta yogino yatachittasya yunjato yogamatmanah. So the Gita explains, yogis contemplate the soul with mind always the same, just as lamps in windless places burn with a steady flame. And therefore, dear friends, be detached from the results, not from the goals. Setting the goals will increase your focus. Worrying about the results It takes away your focus. To relish satisfaction, you replace expectation with appreciation. Being deeply loved by someone gives you the strength, whereas loving someone deeply gives you courage. Logic will take you from A to Z, but imagination can take you everywhere. As Einstein said, life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. And faith is the first step, even when you cannot see the entire stair. So, talent hits a target no one else can hit. Genius hits a target which no one else can see. And therefore, attitude is something very important, which is greater than accomplishment. One's flexibility, one's selflessness, one's forgiveness, one's obedience, one's dependence on the Supreme in all kinds of provoking situations makes one extremely noble. And this is the essence of yoga, which facilitates harmony, a source of restraint and responsibility within a person. And this actually provides real love and affection between people, a sense of respect towards the planet, and a commitment to reduce, reuse, and recycle in one's lifestyle choices and habits. So, in conclusion of our topic, which is the art of resilience, and we have discussed some of these happiness principles, we can say that number one, happiness depends on the quality of our relationship. Number two, the quality of our relationship depends on developing integrity, service attitude, tolerance, and humility. And number three, the development of these four qualities depend on the consistent spiritual practice and discipline which we try to follow in our lives. It's a process, just like business. You invest in your business and do the business with following certain processes, and you see the effect in terms of results. So, therefore, these are some thoughts on the art of resilience, which is based on our ancient wisdom and knowledge, but also corroborated by modern studies, especially the Harvard study of adult development. So, I thank all of you very much for allowing me to share some of my thoughts with all of you. I hope you have found something useful in this discussion. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Gaurang Prabhuji. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful session. Such a wonderful anecdotes and weaving through the journey of Ramayana, Lakshmana, Bharat, Shatrughna. Some of the principles that we were not aware and which was not highlighted much, like Shatrughna helping Bharata without any expectations. I mean, that is such a huge quality. Amazing. I mean, this was really really inspirational. With your permission, Gaurang Prabhuji, if we can take some questions, if anybody has one.
Yeah, actually, I have a very tight schedule today. So at 6 o'clock, there is another call I have.
Okay.
I have 6 minutes.
Okay, fine. Anybody quickly wants to ask Gaurang Prabhudas question?
Yeah, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Yes, Jagdish. Yeah.
Can you also give one example from Krishna's life on how he, that's again something which is very close to a heart, about any one anecdote which has brought that resilience.
Yeah. So, uh, when Krishna made a decision that he is not going to fight battle of Kurukshetra, and he invited both Duryodhana and Arjuna to him. So Arjuna sat near his feet, Duryodhana sat near his head, and Krishna had said, "Whoever my eyes fall upon first, I will allow them to ask question." So Krishna's eyes opened, and his eyes went on Arjuna, who was at the feet. And Krishna told Arjuna, "Please ask." And our Duryodhan was trembling because he thought, what will Arjuna ask? Arjuna said, My dear Lord, I do not need anything. I simply need your association. I aspire for Krishna to be on my side. And then Krishna said, but what about my, Dwarka army? He said, no, I don't need it. Then Krishna turned to Duryodhana, and Duryodhana said, my dear Lord, since Arjuna is not taking that Dwarka army, I will take it. So actually, at that particular point of time, the Acharyas explain, Krishna wants to demonstrate very, very beautiful point, that dependence on him is more powerful than trying to acquire all of his armies and his powers. And therefore, Arjuna prioritized his relationship with Krishna over what he can get from Krishna. And so, Krishna demonstrated that although he was sharing this army with Duryodhana, Arjuna had nothing to fear because Krishna personally was going to protect him. So therefore, in this way, Krishna demonstrated.
Acha, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, one question is, this whatever resilience which we wish to create, outside with a relationship building. So the first relationship which we should have is with our own self.
Right.
That I feel that the foundation of accepting ourselves unconditionally as we are starts the process of inner integrity and leads to blossoming of all these qualities as a natural byproduct.
You have to follow some authorized process properly. It will not just automatically. Because
but the foundation is definitely, trusting life within you.
Like, for example, business is not done only in PowerPoints. The business concepts may be presented in a form of a PowerPoint. But huge difference between just making a PowerPoint on a business idea and actually doing the business.
Correct. But the foundation is your self-love towards yourself, accepting yourself, then your life transforms you.
In the sense, just like business, there is a process. There is a process for self-transformation. And it is not just you and me just think of something and anything is okay.
What I mean is,
Shailesh, we are short on time. Please keep an eye on the watch.
I agree. Only one thing. What I mean is, instead of fighting with ourselves, accepting ourselves makes us bloom more effectively. That is what I want to say.
Yeah, you refer to the Gita, and there is a just like you go to Harvard Business School and other B schools give you authorized process of doing business.
Okay.
The Gita also gives you authorized process, and it doesn't depend on what you and me think.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I think I'll take your leave now.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Gaurang Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Really
some other time we'll do another session in future. Okay.
Sure, Gaurang.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for the assurance.
Thank you.
Look forward. Yeah. So Satish, you can still go ahead with the summary. So we don't want to miss on that because again that can take under 10 minutes. So we like to hear more. Repeat telecast.
Well, fantastic session. Yeah, I must say.
Fantastic. Absolutely amazing session.
Just, the way that flow
very
came
power packed.
I mean,
very powerful.
I think mesmerizing, 60 minutes, one of the most mesmerizing sessions. Yeah. I mean, how we started and, he first of all, he told us about the principle of coming together, every week. That itself is a great thing, which is something, the life goals of people, which he says, that we want to be rich and famous, the Harvard study, loneliness kills. Oh my God, I mean, number of friends that you have is not as important as the quality of friends. The people who stick to you in times of highs and lows. Maintaining a protective layer for health, happiness and health. Oh my God. I mean, it just went on. And the way he connected the Rama and the four characters. And I was thinking that if you see the corporate life, I mean, these four qualities is something that any company will die for. I mean, it is living for that. but they will die for that. These 4 qualities. If there is all the employees have this, the service attitude, the integrity, the topmost, as he started with Lord Ram. The integrity, having the service attitude. One is of course to give the service, but to have the service attitude, the tolerance part of it, and of course the humility. I think any company, any HR, any proprietor, any owner, any businessman, any wealthy guy, be it Ambani or nowadays it's fashion to say Gautam Adani, they just strive to have this set of people with them. It was simply too much, and the way he narrated all the those one-liners, I think they just flowed through him. They just flowed through him, and eliminating non-essentials part of it. Brilliant session. Yeah, choose your food and thoughts carefully. Food gets into the body, thought gets into the mind. Oh boy, it was, and imagination can take you anywhere. Just too good. Yeah, quality of relationships. I think it was simply too good. So, and Nitish, this has been recorded, I think. No, will we be able to post it on?
Yes.
We can. We've got the permission.
Yes, we can post. I have not taken permission, but I've recorded, so it's okay.
Yeah,
We'll post it in the group. Yeah, but I'll check with him. Yeah,
I think so. But the very fact that nowadays in Zoom it comes, that the session is getting recorded.
Yeah. It was actually audible to everybody that it's getting recorded. So
Yeah.
I missed asking him, so I recorded. Anyway, I will check with him on WhatsApp and come back to you.
But anyway, that is a small thing, but brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we can do is we can now take a few takeaways from people. Like almost 50 people are still here. We can ask people if they have some takeaways which they would want to share. So that will also be some additional learning for all of us, since we have under 15-20 minutes more, if wish to. Yeah, Naresh.
I don't know. One fantastic thing he told, that that anklets, he could only recognize the anklets. I don't know. My knowledge of Ramayana and Mahabharata and all is not as great as the others in the room, but I think that was so brilliantly coming out. Yeah,
that is.
The way he said it, the way and it just came out as a continuing story. Yeah, I think that was just took the
very, very, very powerful. Every sentence was very powerful.
That was, I think, just too good. Yeah, just too good.
So this Bharata also. So actually, when he's staying, he actually went out of the city to stay in all 13 years. The best part was that he knew that Rama will be sleeping only at the ground level, base level. He'll not have a cot. So what he did was he actually dug a hole which was almost 1-2 feet inside the ground, and he was staying inside that ground for 13 years. Can you imagine? So Bharata didn't stay on a normal bed. He said, no, if whatever Rama is going to go through, I'll be going worse than that. So he's created that thing, and then he slept inside that for 14 years. That's the story of Bharat, and the amount of work that Bharat has done, it's really amazing, and that too completely as a sacrifice. So that's something which is worth learning, that once you're out of the organization, yet you can be part of it and contribute, is something that was really amazing.
Jagdish, as you rightly pointed out, let's take feedback from others if they want to contribute. That will be great.
Yes.
Their lessons.
Right.
Anybody can share.
Naranji or Mohanji?
Milind wants to share.
Me?
Yes, Milind.
For me, personally, yeah, Naresh.
Naresh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Naresh, go ahead.
So what really came up was
everybody else can mute, please. Everyone else can.
Yeah. So the 4 qualities in 4 brothers, that was really nice way of putting it across for getting resilience in life, and absence of ego means false status, that came up as something which we can currently practice.
Narayan Kudva, just why don't you unmute, mute please? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Narayan. Yeah.
Naresh, you are on mute now. Naresh, you are on mute.
Sorry, everybody got muted. Okay. So it's about ingredient for good relationship. It's transforming mind. And transforming mind means do not take credit, stay focused at your work, do work as a yoga. So these kind of qualities which he spoke post giving the 4 recipes, thing, and a service attitude at a whole new level where he said, understand your master, whoever is the leader, and mold yourself.
Milind, please mute. Milind, please mute. Yeah, go ahead, Naresh. Sorry to interrupt.
Sorry, and mold yourself accordingly, staying focused at the result. So that was super. Is like adjusting your leadership qualities as per whoever is the leader for that particular objective of the business. So that is, so you have a different verticals and different goals and different businesses, and you mold your way of working with people, working with yourself as per the master. So that was the important takeaway for me. And a tolerance where you say Bharavai iti Bharata. So that was nice. So even though you don't get any opportunity to clarify and give, all those things, be calm, be tolerant, do the job, go at 1 o'clock for the bath if people throw stone at you, but don't hit it. So that was like beautiful. I never got Ramayana in that sense ever before the last 30 minutes. So that was a great treat for me personally. So I just like those part of it, and everything else people will speak. I think it was every minute, every sentence was filled with knowledge, which is leaving and not just giving. So that was great part. You're mute, Jagdish.
Great. Thanks, Naresh. I think Milind wanted to speak. Milind, go ahead. Please unmute yourself now.
Now everybody can listen. Hello, Jagdish.
We can hear you. The
Milind,
slide.
your voice is cracking.
Remove your hands free. That is giving noise. It has a white noise coming in. Just speak with your machine. Don't use hands free. Unmute yourself. Remove hands free and unmute.
No, you are on mute, Milind.
Now,
Yeah. I think better to speak on the handset because your phone is making noise. Remove your cord from the.
now it is perfectly okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes.
Very good. First thing is that totally different angle to look at Ramayana. That everybody must be getting different angle, and naturally in our day-to-day life also. Now, what is important thing is what since we say it is Kali Yuga, now when we think about historic things, relations with all the brothers, that means relations एक दूसरे के साथ जो था relation, that is when we correlate with what you can say globally. So can we imagine relation with employer and employee? What I want to ask you, that is, everybody can listen, na Jagdish?
Yes, we can listen.
No, what I want to tell you that when as an employee, when I start obeying my all duties, I expect the same thing from the employer also. But in present situation, it is somewhat what I observe that angle from employer to the employee. That means that correlation should be there, what I feel.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Milind. Thanks for sharing. And yes.
That means what we can do to make good relations with employer and employee.
So what I got on that question is you can only work on yourself and you can only tolerate as a virtue while being in integrity and doing your service as a yoga. If you are doing that, everything else is still okay.
Okay.
And integrity at what level he explained, right?
Yeah.
Lord Rama, up to this day, was the next king. He had never faced adversities in his life. He was given what he wanted. And next day, because to fulfill his father's promise, he left the kingdom, for forest life throughout afterwards for 14 years then, without earlier facing adversity. What a level of integrity. Amazing. Yes, anybody else wants to share?
Yeah, Kamlesh, go ahead.
Yeah. Hi. No, I think everybody said it. You know, it was that 1 hour what Satish was articulating and what Litesh also talked about. You know, the conclusion which I would probably want to repeat for everybody and rather register in my own head is, you know, your happiness depends upon the quality of relationship. The quality of relationship depends upon those 4 principles which we talked about. And in order to achieve that, there is a process which is on the spiritual yoga side. So, you know, that's the part which, you know, the beautiful part was Ramayana, those, you know, 4 characters which he talked about. There was no dilly-dally approach. Everybody was consistent, right? And that's what changes the way of life, be it in your actions, be it in your speech and words. I think that was extremely, extremely, heartwarming, I would rather say. In fact, Litesh or Satish or Jagdish, I don't know, is it possible? I think at least my vote is we should have one more repeat. Maybe this time, you know, from Mahabharata as an analogy. But that 1 hour flew in such a manner. Every word was so profound. In fact, I made some 7-8 pages and still would want to go through the recording multiple times. So that's the impact which is created. So thank you to everyone, and especially Litesh, I think, for connecting and organizing this. Thank you.
Yes.
No, it's a collective effort, Kamlesh, and I want to thank you personally because very well put out. I know the depth of what you attended the session was, really loving and amazing. We'll definitely try to get him. We've been trying to get him since last 6 months, as Jagdish had pointed out. So finally we could get him, but we will again try and get him. So all of us, Jagdish, myself,
Yes.
Satish, Sridhar, will work together to do that.
No, amazing. Thank you all of you, and super one.
Yeah. So I just want to congratulate Kamlesh. He recently became the coup at Edelweiss Tokyo Life. So, you know, we can just give you sort of a clap and thanks, you know, that you actually took your time out to come here today itself.
No, Jagdish, is all my pleasure. This is something, you know, it doesn't happen by itself. So thank you all. Thank you very much.
Congratulations to you,
Thank you,
and
Jagdish.
wish you all the success. And
We have
God
Srikant
bless
sir
you.
also here today. So Srikant sir
Hi,
is also
Srikant. Hello, sir. How are you?
Yeah, hi everybody. It was wonderful. I think it was a great session. Everybody has already spoken. For me, I was just trying to think about, you know, all these 4 qualities of the 4 brothers that he talked about, and then try to see, you know, how is it that one applies that to us, you know, to oneself. And you know, I realized that probably while you are trying to imbibe all the qualities, at least in corporate life, one is still trying to be the king, you know, and that is, and so that was the sort of takeaway for me to see, you know, and to reflect upon internally that where is it that you are and what is it that you want to do. That's how I'm thinking about the whole session. Ultimately, how does this change one's thinking about oneself and how you live your life and lead your life. Thank you. But thank you. It was a very wonderful and insightful session.
Yes.
Thank you.
So actually, when he does the Srimad Bhagavatam course, he takes it over 2-3 hours. Like, you know, the amount of stories that he tells to the audience, he just keeps them for hours together. And that is the power of, and the way he speaks, you know, the language, the words, choice of words is truly brilliant. So maybe we'll go to Vada one day. You know?
Yeah, we should go to Vada. He's an IIT Mumbai pass out. Huh?
Yeah, true.
Right. Yes.
All the
Arranji,
4.
yes, you wanted to say something, Arranji?
Yeah. Anybody wanted to say about, you know, he said better habits and not better results. You know, anybody wanted to explain that, what they got from that?
Better habits or?
focus on better habits, not better results. That's what he
Result, yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, what he also said was like, you can have goals which will give you direction, but
I
not
think
to worry
those who are
about
not
results.
speaking can please mute. Narayan Kudwa, please mute. Milind, please mute. Milind, please mute. Thank you. Yeah, Jagdish, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what he was saying that you should have goals which gives you direction, but not to worry consistently about what results you are achieving. So having goals is good, but worrying about it, so because results are not in your hand and too many parameters get changed continuously, and we really do not know. And he gave example like how COVID has suddenly changed us. So similarly, having goals is good enough, but don't worry about the result. Then he told about the Karmanye Vadikare say, like, focus on the performance, not to worry about goals. So that is the perspective. that
Right.
is looking
So
at.
actually driving teams saying these are the habits.
Yeah.
Driving yourself saying these are the habits.
So it is up to you. First, you demonstrate those habits, and then your team will automatically, walk their talk. So that is really very important. Okay, you show integrity. How many times you have broken your words to your team. That itself will show you whether the team honors those words or not in the future. So when Rama does the word, then Lakshmana will keep his word, Bharata will keep his word, Shatrughna will keep his words. Because the person at the top is keeping his words. And that is what we would also want to do. So be consistent, your team will follow. You don't need to tell them anything. Right.
Excuse me.
I'll leave. I'll take leave.
Yeah, I think we'll also can now take a break then.
Yeah. All the four qualities were brothers.
Yes.
That means they are not separate. They are together. You can't follow any one of them. You have to follow all four of them.
Right.
They are represented as brothers in the whole story. Right?
Yeah, I think that's a good perspective. And all it goes as a package. All of it has to go together.
And there is from the same group, Dasharatha.
Yeah. Very true.
Not separate. So only developing one quality or two of them doesn't really give you success. All the four are required. The four pillars rather. Huh?
Yes. Definitely. So great. Then anybody else has to speak last? Yeah. So I think we can. Yes.
No, I was just the last point. I think all the relationship. No, I think he started with this Harvard study, which is very interesting. Actually, I never knew about this. I believe this went on for almost 75 years, and they took two groups who are rich and famous, and the other group is poor and deserving. So it appears that the poor and deserving also were living healthily and happily. I mean, probably as good as other group, maybe more than that. So it shows that the wealth and the richness is not just the important factor. So for happiness and health, to live a peaceful life. So I think that is also a good takeaway from that authentic study. I think probably Harvard they have done it probably with a great this thing. So I think that is also a good takeaway, I believe.
Yeah, actually, there was a recent study also done on which community or which type of people are the most happy, and they found out that the people with the slightly above average income, which is slightly higher middle class. The more, if you are in the higher middle class, you are the happiest among all the types. So after the point, making more money does not add to your happiness.
Not really. Okay.
That is what is the recent study. You have to be slightly more than the higher middle class. If you are in that range, you are really done. Then you don't need to be super rich.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the additional.
Yeah.
I love to add one thing.
Yes, Sanjay.
Yeah, I really agree with that thing. I mean, having some amount of money is required to start that happiness.
Don't worry after money. So don't run after money. It will come. So it will come if you are serving well. If you serve well, automatically that money will come to you.
Yes, definitely. I mean, like up to some level, money is required. Then after it all depends on your.
Yeah. Then it's just service. Then you should only focus on service.
Definitely. And I think the Guruji also said about the Lakshman, service before self.
Yes.
That is also a great concept. In life, suppose in marketing, we also try to give something for free, you know, something we give for free service. So that, because we're trying to serve customer first, you know, before we
Right.
get them.
Get back. Very true.
That's one thing.
Right. Yes. So I think we can conclude today, and we catch up again next week. Again, we have got a very good session coming up, and it is going to be on awakening, and that's going to be a very interesting session. And let's catch up. It's going to be on your chakras and how you can actually elevate yourself and your consciousness to actually attain liberation. So if you are, all of you are interested, please join in our next Saturday session at same time at 5 o'clock. So see you all then. So have a great weekend, and Hare Krishna.
Bye.
Enjoy yourself. Take care.